Well, welcome back, everybody. I know it's been a while. A lot of things have happened. Moved to the East Coast, back to Georgia. Trying to get set up in my family farm shop. So I finally have indoors, which is nice. So start working on the pre-runner. Got a place to hook up the welder to actually start getting some work done. Right now, working on the 73 Series 3. The rear diff, we shattered the spider gears in whatever episode it was, a couple back. So we've got the spider gears in here, nice new shiny ones. And if you see right here, that's what it looks like in there. And that's the nice new one. So, obviously we broke quite a lot, but hopefully it shouldn't be too difficult to put back on. I've heard it's simple, also heard it's difficult. Yeah, these came apart. I mean, all of this was just completely shattered. These two gears were completely shattered. I think the largest piece was maybe a third. So, we did some damage. For the original 63 horses, she still got some torque, I guess. Anyway, gotta get this thing cleaned up. Unfortunately, it's surface rusted some sitting out here. It's not too bad though. Anyway, I'm gonna break it down. See how this goes. Yeah, we got 3 teeth left. 4. All right. Forgot to mention, so on the diff I pulled out, obviously see there's some gasket maker here, but what I ordered was this felt gasket. However, LR Parts, who I'm going to mention specifically because this. And this happens, I get that, all right? But when you send it in a box, and also it took 5 months to get, I sent it to the wrong address too. When you send it in a box that never had a chance of holding it without bending it, like, never had a chance. Even diagonally, you're basically gonna bend it to get into this box. So that's a little disappointing, because now I have to come up with some way of making a gasket. Probably try to do something with this, but I'm sure it'll leak. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. Kind of disappointed in that. All of this came really well wrapped in this wax paper. It was just this. It's like they're like, screw it, let's just toss it in the box. Like, it was bent like this too. I mean, it was just, great. Anyway, I'm gonna get this cleaned up and show you guys the results. Actually, I'll probably show you guys, let me break it down. I'll show you from there. So looks like, there we go, bolt snap on us. Fun. Obviously I just did that. I don't even realize it. Which means I probably screwed up the threads on one of these. Oh, I guess there's no threads on that. Alright, that's right. Okay, so oh wow. You seeing this? That's coming out by hand. I have no idea how this snapped then. So that's good. But at least this is coming out easy. That you know, that saves hours. None of the ring gears bolts were tight, like almost at all. I mean, didn't even do a single ugga-dugga to get it off. I know this thing's big, but it literally didn't have to. It almost felt like it was all finger tight. So I bet some of these backed out some. Though this was seated really well, it didn't come off. That's not like what happened, I don't believe. And this, obviously, I just pulled off, so that wasn't it. It had to just be one of these internal gears. Yeah, it's either, you know, one of the teeth on this, one of these spider gears broke or shattered, or who knows. Also, wonderful little addition, I messed up the bearing trying to pull it off with what I knew was the wrong puller, but it's the one I had, and as you can tell, it is no longer round. Let's see, there's the high point right there. You can see the bearing is out. Yeah, you can see the bearings out. I think I had a bad angle on that whole thing there. Okay, so this is round, or it's supposed to be, and it's not now. As you can see that bearing sticking out, way too much room. So this bent some when I was trying to pull it off. I was trying to grab the edge right here, that lip, but crappy puller obviously did some damage. So I'm going to be trying to find a new bearing for this, which I hope doesn't take 4 months like the last parts I needed. I guess I'm going to go ahead and order a set of them. This one looks alright. So we're gonna keep on moving with this. So I need basically pulled the ring gear off to get this pin out. It's the only way to get to it. I maybe could have gotten to it before, but I feel like I would have messed up the ring gear. And also, speaking about the ring gear, other than this little bit of surface rust right here, which isn't much, that's just from it sitting outside and open. The only damage I can see, is, I don't know if you can see in the light or not, but there's a little bit of a nick right there on that gear. Right there, there's a little bit right there, a little rough right there, and it's smoothed out again. You can kind of see maybe little shinier spots, but on your finger you can't really feel that. I see those, I don't know if you can pick those up, the nicks right above my finger there. Like, you just can't really feel that with your finger. So I'm gonna run it. It's obviously in pretty good shape. This is probably the biggest nick. I really don't know how well the GoPro's picking this up or not. But there's a little bit of one there. You can feel that. That's about the only one I know I can like actually feel. And oh, sorry. So we've got somewhere along the bottom here, and then here's probably the biggest little missing chunk. But it's on the back side of the gear. So even this, that looks like a lot, it's not much, and it's not really going to be on the contact surface anyway. Which, if this is done right, should be more towards the inside of this, towards the center of the gear. So should be fine to run. I'm gonna look at the pinion gear here in a minute, and we'll see how that looks. So of course it just rained on this thing. So the pinion gear, get to where I can actually turn this thing. There we go. You can see a little bit of a nick there below my finger. It's not very much. That's that same nick though. Yeah, that's we're gonna run that too. So turn this up on the end so it's a little water. So I think we could have been worse, you know. Well, got what's left of the gears out. So we got one left on that one. And on this one, yep, 4. So that was pretty good and destructive. Kind of funny, from a 63 horsepower car that's brand new, she's probably making 40s if we're lucky. And at altitude, she's probably making close to like 25. So 25 horses, that's all it takes to have an old die-cast gear let go, I guess. Yeah, well, we're gonna go ahead, try to get this bearing off. Since I don't have to save it anymore, I'm just gonna go ahead and yank it. Anyway, well, I'll get back to you guys in a minute when I get a little farther along. But that's pretty much it. We're just getting this bearing off, which is bent. So I screwed it up, so I won't be driving the Land Rover tonight. Otherwise, I don't know if you can see in here, it does look like some damage in here. Yeah, we have metal flakes coming off. I think you guys should be able to see that. So right along in here, pretty damaged. And then there was this metal flake that just fell off. So I'm gonna probably get a file on this. Just trying to clean it up a little bit. Same with the other side. It looks, ooh, that's all right. That's good. Good piece of metal in the skin now. All right, yeah. So it must have worn. So I'm gonna have to file this down. I'm gonna try to save this diff. If not, I'm gonna put a locker in it just for fun. But there's also, I don't know if you guys can see this, there's definitely a gouge here and here, and it looks like it ate in a little bit because it's got this steel ridge, and maybe it's definitely, you can see the shard coming off the end right there on my finger. Otherwise, it's not any serious. I mean, there's this damage here where a piece was sitting at the bottom of the diff and it obviously hit. I'm gonna try to knock the sharp edges off that, but I am gonna try to use this and see what happens. I don't think that's bad enough to warrant getting a new diff unless it's really out of balance or something after we put this back in. So go ahead and just rip this bearing off and try to see if you had a 2-point bearing puller, you could get it underneath the bearing there, and you'd be done. But I don't have one, so I get this bearing out and try to put at least the new gears back together, and we'll go from there. So I haven't gotten very far. Basically just have to have a 2-point puller, bearing puller for this. So that notch there, and that notch there, right there. I can't figure out a way to do it. I've got a 3-point, it's not working. Can't press it out. There's no ridge on the inside that sticks out any further than the see the bearing there's no internal part of the bearing that you can press on. Pretty much gonna have to stop there. I mean, we only got like a minute left of memory card anyway. No battery left. So not a whole lot for tonight. I won't make this a video. I guess I'll just come back tomorrow. This hasn't worked out. Alright, well, we got the gears back in. That was a giant pain in the ass. I think at some point the housing deformed just slightly. Or I needed to heat it up a lot. But everything was kind of a battle. And to make things even stranger, so I got 2 sets of gears in with this. So the spider gears I ordered, basically all of these I ordered as a set, so this is the new version of what came out of it. As you can tell, it's slightly different gear than this main gear in here now. So that's definitely what came out of it. But I couldn't fit these smaller gears into the differential with this, but they would fit with this one. So I'm gonna run this and see what happens. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a new differential anyway. I had to do some shady things. Like, for whatever reason, this pin wouldn't fit back in anymore. It slid right out, but I had to grind this hole back out because I couldn't find a 39/64 drill bit anywhere. Don't know why. I think it just, when I was pressing it in, the whole housing. So this may not work at all, but I'm gonna try it anyway. I did get it back in. I cleaned up all of the insides. There were burrs everywhere, so a lot of die grinding, a lot of cleaning, and then die grinding again. I try to clean up all the little burrs just on the entire thing. And I mean, I've been at this for like probably 4 hours now, trying to get all this to like fit in, spin like it's supposed to. It was catching in a lot of places, or had kind of what would be high friction points, just little burrs or something that was sticking out a little bit further than everything else and making it not spin freely. Finally got it to spin freely. Again, this is not the same gears that came out of it, and it's not even like the teeth are different. It's like the whole thing is different, but it fits just fine. And I don't even know where these came from because all I ordered was the rear. So I guess this is just going to be a Land Rover thing. You order some parts, they aren't the same as the parts you have, but they may work. Maybe I'm changing the rear spline, which probably is what's happening now. We'll see. But I ordered everything for what I had, so I don't know. Well, I'm gonna try to get this back in. I'm just gonna completely overlook the fact this bearing is all sorts of not right, because it does have a nice big collar to make it circle again. So I think we'll just let that ride. I'm really determined to try to drive this thing today. I just tried to start it. It was out of fuel. Don't know how it evaporated that much, but basically put some gas in it, started right back up. So that's why I've got the carb cover off. And a really good sign of what you don't have gas is if your filter's dry, which this one's obviously not now, but it was before. Don't know how that happened, but started like second crank, first crank sort of thing once it did have gas. So she's a runner. I forgot the GoPro. I even had it charged and the memory card all cleaned up and everything. Forgot it. So I'm gonna try to get some sort of filming, me trying to get this differential back in, and I'll hopefully drive this thing out of here in a minute to 2 hours, something like that. All right, so we got the front of the differential back in, and
drive shaft back on. I used just a gasket maker to make that gasket. I didn't want to use that felt after it broken. Otherwise, haven't put oil in it yet. I kind of went the cheap route and used some just steel kind of epoxy, something to fill that hole. See if that works. If not, I'll grind that off and take that whole cover off. So I have a new cover, but the whole thing's welded on. Weld's not totally set up yet, so I'm gonna see if this works for a little while. See how those different gears work. I'm assuming I'm gonna be taking this whole thing back out probably pretty quickly with some issue or another. But I got the axles back on, or getting them back in, and then should be able to go drive this thing after I put oil in it. Which I'm supposed to wait 24 hours for that gasket maker, but that just seems just too long. So we'll be driving here in a bit. Well, we got the Land Rover up and running last night. The weird rear differential gears that didn't match the ones that came out of it seem to be working. I've been driving around last night and this morning. Sorry I didn't film it. Remembered all the parts that I needed and all the tools and gasket stuff and all, but I forgot the camera. So I try to get a few things on my phone so you can kind of see what I was playing with. Had a lot of issues with the differential being, I think when I was trying to press one of the bearings out, I may have warped the actual housing of the differential, because I had to die grind out the main I guess shaft that the spider gears are on. For whatever reason it wouldn't slide back in, so it came right out easily. Wasn't hot or anything like that, so it had nothing to do with temperature, so it should slide in and out easily. But for whatever reason those holes had changed in the process of me screwing around with it trying to get it to work. In that same process I found a little bit more damage to the housing that I had to grind out so the gears would actually slide all the way in. So that took some time. It took me maybe 4 or 5 hours to get the differential all back together right, where it was turning and smoothly. It had a number of spots, I guess just a little bit of a nick, so it creates a high friction point. It makes it, the gear was catching, you could feel it wasn't turning like it was supposed to. Got all that figured out, got oil in it. About to check the oil again after I do this video. I haven't noticed any leaks. I parked it in spots so I could, could tell. So I haven't seen any leaks coming out. It drives great. I inadvertently had it in 4-wheel drive all last night driving around, because I was worried that maybe because those gears are different, maybe the ratio is different. Even if it's slightly different, I was worried that maybe that would put a lot of strain on the transfer case. Seems like it's fine since I drove around maybe like 50 miles last night with it in 4-wheel drive. So seems to be working. Doesn't seem to be straining, no weird noises, no weird vibrations. I mean, it's as loud as a tin can going down the road at 55 it can be, but it worked out pretty good. I think that's going to be about it for this thing for a little while. I may do a video solely on taking the top off. So this section here and here, so the cream colored part, maybe take the doors off too. The problem with that is the speakers are on this B pillar here and they're up here, so I'm gonna have to relocate them. So there's a little bit of wiring involved. I'm also not sure how I want to pick it up, because obviously I don't want it to get damaged while I'm screwing around with this. But I'll probably make a whole video on how to do that, because I haven't really found that great of a kind of a step-by-step process with some maybe good ideas on how to lift this thing off. I'm gonna try to do it by myself, so I maybe could show you guys how to do this by yourself if you're alone. I don't think it weighs that much. It's just gonna be awkward, because of the size and shape. But otherwise, I think I'm gonna just kind of drive this thing around. It runs fine. It's got 58,000 miles on it, so if y'all have anything you want to see done to it, I'm back and forth on painting it. I like the patina a lot. but I think cream wheels would look really good. But then if you do new cream wheels, it's gonna kind of not look right unless you do the rest of it. So probably just gonna leave it alone for a while. Next project, other than taking the top off of this, is probably gonna be something with the pre-runner. I finally got the shop cleaned out. I'm redoing an Airstream too, but I don't really think that's what this channel's about. There's plenty of videos about Airstreams and remodeling them and all that, and I'm not gonna be doing anything fancy, so probably won't film that. But the pre-runner, I'm gonna start breaking down, take all the fiberglass, the hood off, start taking the glass out. I'm trying to talk myself into buying a 60-gallon fuel cell for it. Otherwise, if anyone knows that like has a used big 60-gallon fuel cell or larger that I could use in the pre-runner, I might pick it up off them. New ones are pretty expensive, and I don't think there's going to be any actual races, so it doesn't have to. It could probably be aged out. Yeah, let me know if you guys have anything you want to see with this. Any questions you have about this? I'm not an expert, but I will try to answer what I can and about what I know. They're really straightforward, really simple, and fun little project because it's just not difficult. You're not doing a lot of electrical. You're not worrying about sensors and all that. It's real straightforward, and like 4 sizes of bolts, so that's nice too. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.